Have you ever heard of this saying here? Words can build bridges, and they can also build walls. Ever heard of that? Well, I believe there is a lot of truth in that saying. I know of some people, relatives, former friends, colleagues, and business partners who have not spoken to each other for years because many years ago, some words were said that built invisible walls between them. Sad, isn't it? I have also read from history archives the account of wars that were started with words of malice, hatred, dissent, etc. And wars that were also won or stopped with words that inspired courage and confidence in those on the front line, or words that brought about the meeting of minds in peace talks. At Embolden, I am committed to bringing you insights, secrets, and tips that will bless, inspire, and help you realize the great potential and power within you to be great and successful in life. And today's episode is about the power of your words to create the kind of life you want. I am Sterling Libbs. Welcome to Embolden, the podcast. I believe that one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself is that of being true to yourself. Being authentically you and living your life the best way you can without pretending to be someone else or trying to please everybody in order to fit in or be accepted by others. Your journey to becoming more inspired and emboldened to live an authentic and successful life starts right now. Your words matter, and it is imperative that you ensure that they are measured and appropriate to the time, occasion, and place. Proverbs 18:21, the English Standard Version says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits." The power of the tongue. You need to take control of it. And by tongue, I am not referring to that organ in your mouth. No. The tongue is used here as a metaphor for your speech. And as such, taking control of your tongue is about how to control your speech. The way you talk to yourself and other people, the manner and the substance of it. Only a fool would consider babbling whatever is in or comes to their mind without due regard to the consequences of their words. The scripture says it in Proverbs 29:11 that a fool vents all his feelings, but a wise man holds them back. And Proverbs 29:20 echoes it in this way. Do you see someone who speaks in haste? There is more hope for a fool than for them. Look, the Bible has nothing really good to say about a fool. Yet for it to say that there is more hope for a fool than for somebody who is hasty or too anxious to speak says volumes about the folly of being hasty in your speech. The truth is, there are times when we say something in anger and later wish we could recall our words. Unfortunately, however, once spoken, words cannot be erased. Wentworth Roscommon said, "Once a word has been spoken, it cannot be recalled." And an Arabian proverb puts it this way: when you have spoken a word, it reigns over you. When it is unspoken, you reign over it. And there is a Chinese proverb that says that once you have spoken, even the swiftest horse cannot retract your words. So, you see, for your own sake, keep your tongue under control, will you? There is no need to be hasty with your words. You are bound to make a fool of yourself if you keep on that path. It is better to listen more and speak less. What you say about somebody may sometimes be overheard or repeated by somebody else by quoting you. And if the words you spoke were harsh words, they can cause a great hurt, both to the person directly affected and to yourself. It might be something you consider minor, for example. You might say of a colleague of yours, say called Sandra, that Sandra's new outfit looks terrible on her, that it makes her look fat. This to you might be an idle opinion, not meant to harm. In fact, it might even be true what you said. But what if Sandra is told about it? She may feel hurt, embarrassed, and feel like she has wasted her money. And that might not bear well with your relationship with her, will it? You can avoid this type of situation by following a very simple rule, and that is always think before you speak. Pause and consider what you're about to say. When a friend asks, for example, how do you like Sandra's new outfit? That would be a good time to take that important pause to think about your answer. And if you don't really care for the style and look of it, and you think it looks terrible, but you do not want to speak falsely, simply respond with something like, well, I am not kind of used to it yet. Ask me in a couple of weeks. By saying so, you haven't lied, nor have you said something that might jeopardize your relationship with Sandra. And besides, in a couple of weeks, you might actually come to like Sandra's new outfit on her. You never know. Jean J. Kirkpatrick once said that words can destroy. What we call each other ultimately becomes what we think of each other, and it matters. And Maimonides remarked that what is lofty can be said in any language. What is mean should be said in none. And I agree. You know, the principles of prosperity inform us that our words may determine whether we have or have not, because our words are one of the instruments with which we build our world. And in fact, some metaphysical teachers believe that we literally shape our world with our words. A statement spoken in spiritual consciousness may have great spiritual power. Sound, speaking the word, can change things as well as consciousness itself. What does that exactly mean, anyway? Well, you see, it is a provable fact that everything from thoughts to rocks to tables and chairs to you and me, everything is composed of units of energy in unique configurations of vibrations. Our scientists tell us that everything vibrates and everything has its own sounds, which are its own peculiar vibrations of frequencies. Sound vibrations affect physical matter. In the book, Physics Without Mathematics, the author tells of an experiment in which vibrations in the metal or glass plates may produce wave patterns that can be seen with the eye. By sprinkling sand upon the plates and drawing the bow of a violin across the edge, geometrical figures are formed as the plates vibrate. In this simple experiment, we see how sound vibrations affect physical matter. Now, I want you to think about the next statement I'm about to say carefully. If it is true that sound vibrations affect physical matter, just as illustrated in that example of the sand, is it likely that the words we speak throughout the day indirectly take physical shape in our bodies and help form our life circumstances according to their nature? Seriously, think about this for a moment. When you speak in joy, concern, anger, excitement, or expectancy, have you ever noticed what happens to your face and your body in each of those states? And how about when someone speaks to you in joy, concern, anger, excitement, or expectancy? How does it make you feel? A woman once described her feelings about angry comments hurled at her by a friend. She said the words were so intense that it felt like a physical slap in the face. I personally felt my body shaking with anger or rage from the words and presence of a man who was being so unreasonable in his manner of speech and conduct. So, I know how words can affect our bodies physically. So, when we consider these facts, getting into the habit of watching our words and being mindful of what we say has the potential to transform our relationships and certainly be very beneficial to building a more tolerant and inclusive society, community, or nation. I would urge us to get into the habit of thinking before we speak. You'll never regret it. Aim for the highest relations with self and others. Refrain from gossip and choose to speak only words of truth, both to yourself and to others. And on this point, allow me, if you will, to say something about the conversations we have with ourselves, self-talk, as it were. The truth is, we all engage in private conversations with ourselves all the time, and there is nothing you can do about it except to just control the direction and nature of that inner conversation. You can no more stop it than you can stop the rising and setting of the sun. That will happen. And so it is with your inner conversation. You are always talking to yourself. Your challenge then is to make sure that no matter what, you engage in a positive self-talk and not a negative one. Self-talk affects you in a very deep subconscious level in your creative womb, and as such, what you say to yourself in secret will be reflected in your outer world sooner or later. So be careful about the sort of conversations you indulge in inwardly. Better still, control those conversations and align them affirmatively to your hopes and dreams in life. The most profound conversations you will have in life are those you will have with yourself. Choose to be impeccable with your word. In his book, The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz says in the first agreement that be impeccable with your word. And he says it sounds simple, but it is very, very powerful. And why your word? Well, he says your word is the power that you have to create. Your word is the gift that comes directly from God. The Gospel of John in the Bible, speaking of the creation of the universe, says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. Through the Word, you express your creative power. It is through the Word that you manifest everything. Regardless of what language you speak, your intent manifests through the Word. What you dream, what you feel, and what you really are will all be manifested through the Word. He continues, the Word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The Word is a force. It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think and thereby create the events of your life. The Word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is a tool of magic. But like a sword with two edges, your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. One edge is the misuse of the word, which creates a living hell. The other edge is the impeccability of the word, which creates beauty, love, and heaven on earth. And what does the word impeccability mean in the context of your word? Here, impeccability means without sin. Impeccable comes from the Latin word peccatus, which means sin. The im in impeccable means without. So impeccable means without sin. Religions talk about sin and sinners, but let's understand what it really means to sin. A sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is sin. You go against yourself when you judge or blame yourself for anything. Being without sin is exactly the opposite. Being impeccable with your word is not going against yourself. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself. From this point of view, the whole concept of sin changes from something moral or religious to something common sense. Sin begins with rejection of yourself. Self-rejection is the biggest sin that you commit. In religious terms, self-rejection is mortal sin, which leads to death. Impeccability, on the other hand, leads to life, said Miguel. Being impeccable with your word is not using your word against yourself in being judgmental about yourself or blaming yourself. Being impeccable with your word is the correct use of your energy. It means to use your energy in the direction of truth and love for yourself. Tell yourself how wonderful you are, how great you are. Tell yourself how much you love yourself, and do some practical things to back that up, like, taking yourself out, buying nice things for yourself, surrounding yourself with good people, etc. Use your word to build yourself up through positive affirmations. Impeccability of the word can lead you to personal freedom, to huge success and abundance. It can take away all fear and transform it into joy and peace. Be impeccable with your word, will you? Now, this discourse on the power of your word would not be complete without us looking at the power of an apology, saying the word sorry and saying it genuinely. Here's the thing. We are in a journey of growth, expansion, and awareness. And along this journey, we will do and say things, as we have already discussed, that will annoy or harm others. Our words, much as they can create bridges or uplift, they can also create walls or cause destruction. Sorry may be one of the most difficult words to say when there is an argument or conflict. And the major reason is because many people see it as a sign of weakness. However, in the context of having meaningful and mutually beneficial relationships, this is not true at all. Apologizing to someone is never weakness. Instead, it is maturity and strength. Saying, "I am sorry," can take away pain that was caused by insensitivity to the feelings of others. Saying, "I am sorry," facilitates forgiveness and helps in healing emotional pain. Not only does it show the recipient that you acknowledge their right to feel hurt, but it also shows how much you value them. A sincere apology can undo so many wrongs. It can help ease the pain and tension caused by a specific action or words spoken in anger and haste. It gives hope for rebuilding a relationship and puts value on the relationship and the other party in it, rather than self alone. You should, however, be mindful of the timing of your apology. If the person is not ready to accept your apologies, hold on and try again later. Sometimes we need to allow time to heal the wounds a little bit before we come forward to say, "I am sorry." And at other times, saying "I am sorry" may be just the right thing needed to start the healing process. So I trust you'll intuitively know when the right time to apologize or say sorry is. Oftentimes, saying "I'm sorry" is worth more than a lifetime of excuses. Tell someone you know has been hurt by your actions or comments that you are sorry and sincerely mean it. Call, text, or email them. And that brings me to the end of this discourse today. I hope you found it useful. If you liked it, be sure to share it with your friends and also click the like button. I will also be honored if you did subscribe or follow my channel so that you can continue receiving more content like this. And I want to personally thank you for taking the initiative and having the bravery to step into the space of awareness, not only for yourself, but also for the benefit of those around you. Till next time, be sure to take good care of yourself, and I look forward to having your company here again for another emboldening conversation. Have a good day. Bye-bye.